What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? It's Casey Zeman here. I want to make this video because I recently got a comment through my YouTube channel from a Rick. And Rick said, Casey is the awesome sauce. YouTube revealed. I rocked YouTube after that program. It got me started online. Thanks, Casey. I don't know how many of you know, but I actually started online teaching about YouTube. In this video, I wanted to kind of reveal like the fact that you don't need to do so much in terms of your level of expertise. I feel like Amy Porterfield says something about like it's an incremental fifth up from the audience that you can resonate with. So when I was going through the process of learning YouTube, I just embedded myself in YouTube. I've like fully, drank the Kool-Aid of YouTube. I was in there all the time. I was trying to learn about SEO specifically with YouTube so that I could get ranked in Google with YouTube. So that's kind of what I was learning how to do. And while I was learning that process, I would filter that information straight back to my audience. So it became like a feedback loop. One thing that was very interesting about that is when I started to do that, it became more of just sharing the value, pushing the value. And when I was just doing that, giving the value, the audience was there. And then what I started to do is I started to take that, that same training and just put it in a webinar. So in the webinar, and I wasn't very good at webinars when I first started out, but when I was doing webinars back then, I would simply share how I was able to, I'd show a result, and I would let myself feel completely geeked out, go all in on sharing a result, like such as an example. Like I figured out how to get on the first page of Google with a video, and I was able to rank on it the very next day. And I was allowing myself to be this guinea pig during that process. And then when I did, I used that in a training that I did like probably the next day or day after. So I was always feedback looping my results, even if they were these little results. It didn't really matter that it wasn't like a massive $100 million result. It was, hey, I was able to get to the first page of Google and check this out. So it was this nice micro result that was bite-sized, that was tangible for people. And I think nowadays what we see is people, especially in like webinars or the guru mentality, which that kind of came and went and came again, I think. But with that, a lot of times we see these massive sort of like unattainable results, which I don't think it really does the relatability factor that your audience may want or require. And the other thing is that I think it's I think I was able to help more people because I was savvy enough to do the things that they weren't willing to do and then show them how I did it, and they were able to then apply it. So if you can find that window where you're doing something that someone else doesn't really want to do, but then you show them how to do it, and they can put it into action, not have to be the guinea pig that goes through that process, then that's very powerful for them. They're excited about that. They want to be able to learn from people just like you. So I always think that, I would rather come in and show a micro result than a massive result. Now, obviously, it depends on who your audience is, right? Like in that, I was talking to people who were just starting out in terms of trying to leverage getting traffic into their business. And I was saying, hey, this is how you can use YouTube to do it. And check this out. You can get on the first page of Google by taking this, what I call the Google side door effect, by entering YouTube to get to Google. So that's kind of how I did it. And it was a very consumable, right? Like it was very consumable. So think about that in your strategy. Don't try to overthink what you're doing. Try to find one little thing, one little result, and apply that one little result. Don't think you have to have some $100 million result, $10 million result, $1 million result. You can have as little as, hey, I was able to get double my traffic coming into my website from this micro tweak, micro change, and here's how I did it step by step. And if you can do that, then that's pretty powerful. And again, the interesting thing about that, and thank you, Rick, for pointing it out, is that that was all just in training. I was just putting that out in webinars that I was just doing back to my audience, so they could feel connected to me. I felt connected to them, and we were, sort of connected together. So that's basically how it was. And through that process, eventually sales came out. Right, I was able to finally start selling, and the power of that was that I led with value that then, of course, people wanted to buy. So people would start buying my course, YouTube Revealed. Now, you can't find that anywhere else or anywhere online right now. That was an old program that I used to have. But to relate that to webinars, my whole first experience with webinars was doing no pitch webinars to an audience, and that's basically how I started off. I didn't pitch anything. I just gave value, and then if they wanted to ask questions, they could ask questions, and then if they wanted to know if they wanted to ask me to share something that I've discovered in the next session, I would take those comments and those queries and then use that to build the next session that I would do for them live and free, right? So it became really great because people came because of the value, and then they had questions, and the questions spurred on more my own research to come up with a solution and show them that next week that solution. So it was a really great thing. And in software, now that I'm a founder of a webinar tool, feedback loops are so important and powerful in any business, and we do this in SaaS and software where we hear from what our audience and customers need, and then we add that back to the product. So it's product-led growth, right? So we're adding those elements back to the product that they mostly need and desire, and if we listen to what they need and want, which we need to, then we create the product that they want to continue on with. And so that's kind of like how any product, any coaching course, or whatever business you might be in, you want to start thinking about that. What do they really need, right? Start off with some micro result that that your audience, who might, you might be 1/5 ahead of them, right? And if you do the work that they're not willing to do, you just show them the result, and then let that feed what other things they need, because oftentimes it's the same things that you need, right? You're just sort of a step ahead or a couple steps ahead. So that's what I wanted to share today. And also, doing that in a training, in a webinar, is very powerful, and putting that out there to the world is extremely powerful. And it doesn't have to be salesy to do it. So find a value strategy that comes from something like this, right? Just sharing good advice, valuable advice to people, that is such the right way to do things. So Rick, high five. Thank you so much for coming in years ago. I love it, and I love that it helped you get your on track for growing your online business. All right, thanks so much, guys. If you enjoy this video, you can like it and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be doing more and more of these. Thanks so much.